Welcome to Mother-Daughter Projects. I'm Steph.
I'm Vicki.
And today we're going to build this really cool cedar table. Come join us.
This is a very simple design. It's basically a C table with a metal pipe down one side and an interior pocket. The height is 24 inches and that is based on the length of the pipe including flanges. The entire table is 12 inches wide. These measurements are solely based on the materials I had and what worked with my sofa. We're going to be using vintage cedar wood from an old wardrobe cabinet that we deconstructed about 5 years ago. You can see there's still some nails and stray parts, so we cut everything down on our saw stop table saw. Saw stop is the very best table saw as it's designed to instantly break if flesh touches the blade. A table saw is one of the most dangerous tools in the workshop, which is why we invested in the safest brand on the market. Besides the safety, it's really well made and easy to use. Here I'm cutting down all the lumber to get it into usable pieces. Here I'm making the cuts for the pocket, and after I cut the sides and front, I measured it out to get the right length for the bottom. The pocket measurements are based on the items I wanted to hold inside. It's 12 inches across, 2 inches deep, and 6 inches high. With everything cut to size, I'm now placing the pocket and put the pipe in place to be sure I cut the back to the correct size. With all the cuts made, Mom moved on to sanding. With everything sanded, I used a tack cloth to remove any remaining sanding dust. Then we glued the pocket together. We're using Titebond glue with our Rockler silicone brush to apply. We also like the Rockler silicone glue keeper, which is that blue box. I added a couple of weights to hold it while it dried. Then we moved on to glue the top and bottom of the table. Once the glue is set, it will be plenty strong, but will also have the strength of the pipe that will be screwed into place later on. Right now, we're just using the pipe to hold the shape, but we'll later attach it. Once the pocket was dry, we went on to add the finish, which is wax. The blue painter's tape was purely a reminder not to wax the edges, as this will be glued to the table and would not hold if there was wax there. Then we remove the clamps and bar from the table. We've used a lot of metal pipe in projects, and our favorite way to clean them is with mineral spirits, and this removes all that kind of gunk that comes on the pipe. Once they were clean, Mom added the same wax we were using for the wood to seal the pipes. She's applying with a t-shirt, and once it's dry to the touch, she will buff it. And she's using grade 0000 steel wool, which is the finest you can buy, but it's not the same that you use to clean your pots and pans in the kitchen. You can see it's starting to shine. Then she waxed the outside of the box, and once that was dry, buffed it with the steel wool. It really brings out the natural color of the cedar wood. It'll probably need to be reapplied in a few years, but that's easy to do. Now we are attaching the pocket with glue and brad nails. We ended up deciding to add it at 6 inches from the bottom, and then we clamped it and brad nailed it in place. It will be plenty strong with the glue, but the brad nails will hold it in place while it dries, and we can remove the clamps. I like to use a 12-inch carpenter square to make sure I'm lined up correctly with the piece in front. Then Mom waxed the rest of the table and buffed it with steel wool once it was dry. There are so many types of wood and finishes that can be used in this project, so make it your own. Lastly, I measured out where to put the pipe, and we decided to make it off-center for a little bit more visual interest. I drilled pilot holes, then I used a right angle attachment to drive the screws in place. Then I turned it over and did the same on the other side. To make it easier to move, I added some furniture movers to the bottom. And this is done! And I love the pocket. I can hold all the things. I have a computer hooked up to my TV, so that's why I need a trackpad and an iPad next to me, as I use them to control the TV. And my phone is in place with a simple pop socket holder.
What we learned. One of the things we learned is in making this, you can use really whatever you have. We didn't actually go out and buy anything new. We had some old vintage cedar that we had salvaged from an old mid-century cabinet that was not usable anymore as a cabinet, and we used the boards from that. So you could go buy something new or use something you already have.
Another thing we learned was keep it simple, Steph. So I originally had a whole idea for this, and I actually made a model out of MDF, and it's not great because it was really just I needed to get the concept down. So this was originally going to slide under the sofa, and then this was going to flip over. And
it was a whole thing.
It was a whole thing. And so I kind of sat with that idea for like a week, and then I realized, just keep it simple. And that's when I came up with this idea, and then to use the pipe that I have in the sofa table behind it. So it just all kind of comes together.
Another thing we learned, along with that keep it simple Steph, is she had a lot of different pocket ideas, so things would be unique, and she decided at the end to just make one large pocket, and it's easy, simple to put the things in there, and it works exactly like it needs to work.
Now, we've actually made a lot of end tables because I've had 3 different sofas and different configurations. So we've made a lot of end tables, and as we're talking in this video, I'm kind of looking here in front of us, and we can't get rid of our end tables for our sofas because we love them all.
Yes.
We love them all, but they're all kind of stacked in front. There's just maybe too many. But if you would like to see a full video of all our end tables,
oh yeah, let's make a list. Yeah, we should just make a video with all of them in them.
Top 10 end tables. We will, but we really have to customize them for each spot. And like I said, I really needed to customize it for exactly what I need by the TV because I need all my stuff. Let me know. Can you relate? Do you need all your stuff when you're by the TV, like the perfect amount of stuff? So let me know if this is a concept you would use, or how you kind of can customize it for your house and for your needs. So thanks for joining us. If you want to see more projects from us, be sure to visit us at mother.projects.com. All right, we'll see you next time.